Hey everybody, Steve Schirmer, the Golf Gambling Podcast here with your one and done picks for the 2024 Wells Fargo Championship. I was not here last week to give out my CJ Cup Byron Nelson one and done pick. Would not have helped you at all. I went with Thomas Dietrich for reasons. I don't really want to talk about it. Let's just move on to this week. This week we go to Quail Hollow, a difficult golf course, although some things that happened last year as far as the advancements in technology and good weather conditions, maybe it's not quite as difficult what he used to play. They also made some changes to the golf course to make it a little easier. But overall, though, still a driver-heavy golf course. Got to hit your long irons pretty good. Typically, the winning score doesn't usually get over 15 under par. I'm going to target some guys who are really good off the tee, have some length, to take advantage of those conditions. But unfortunately, right now, we're starting to get to the part of the year with your one and done contest where you've already used a lot of really good names. And I could get on here and say Rory is a good pick, or Xander is a good pick, or Wyndham Clark is a good pick. Chances are you have already used them. So me getting on a video right now and actually telling you why they're good picks probably is not going to help you. If you have them available, probably use them this week. There's a lot of big money to be had for it. But why don't we actually go over a couple names this week that you maybe haven't used, probably will not be popular, but could find some success at Quail Hollow based on some of the attributes you're looking for this week to net you a pretty good payday and maybe even become a long shot winner at Quail Hollow. So let's start with number 5. Let's go with Cam Davis, and his overall track record at Quail Hollow, at least with the Wells Fargo, is not all that strong. I think he has one top 30 finish, but he has had success here. He did very well in the President's Cup a couple years ago in 2022, just playing really good, solid golf right now. Obviously, he's a really good driver, has some length, but he finished T12 at Augusta. He finished T18 at Bay Hill. So some really good results on some driver-heavy golf courses this year where guys who've done well there have gone to do very well at Quail Hollow. I just like his form right now, and I think he has the talent and upside to actually get a win like a Wyndham Clark did last year. So why don't we go with Cam Davis as a potential one-and-done pick this week if you're looking if you really are struggling with the fact you've used up a lot of big names. Let's go with another guy, Ben On this week. Also kind of a similar vein as Tom Medici, a bit of a Ponzi scheme, but he has a ton of length. He's been hitting his irons really well. Unfortunately, not a lot of really good history at Quail Hollow either, but he's a different player now. And if you are struggling with not having a lot of big names available for your one and done contest, this is a guy that has all the similar attributes as some of the big names you'd want to target this week. Maybe he can have a very good finish at Quail Hollow to get you a pretty good score. So let's go with Ben On as a potential one and done pick for your number 4. How about number 3, Tony Finau? He is a name. He hasn't been really in the mix a ton this year. The only time he's really been, I think, fighting for a win has been at Houston, where he finished second. He also made a bit of a noise on Saturday at the Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines, where he was in position to maybe win, but it didn't really go well for him. But he's hitting the ball great, at least. Off the tee, it seems like he's refound some distance with the driver. He struggled a little bit with that last year. He's been driving it awesome. Obviously, the iron play has returned to very elite levels, but the putter has been a big issue for him. But at least in the last couple times he's been on overseeded Bermuda surfaces like the Players and I believe Bay Hill as well, he didn't putt all that terribly. It seems like a lot of his problems have been coming on POA and bend surfaces lately. So maybe the fact he's been putting a little better on overseeded surfaces, like we'll get this week at Quail Hollow, maybe he won't be a total disaster on the greens, and maybe he can get a good finish. Maybe even has the upside to actually get a win out of nowhere. So I think Tony Finau is a viable option for one and done contests this week. Number 2, how about Tommy Fleetwood? You wouldn't think of him maybe for Quail Hollow because he doesn't have that length, but I just like his form right now. He's been hitting the ball great tee to green. I'm willing to excuse what happened at Harbor Town, where he was mega chalk, disappointed a lot of people. He was coming off Augusta, really difficult conditions. It was a grind over the weekend. I'm not surprised a couple guys who did very well, were in the top 10 at the Masters, kind of fell flat Harbor Down the following week, but he does have a top 10 here, hitting the ball great. He has more length than you think off the tee. So I think Tommy Fleetwood could be a viable option for your one and done contest too. But number 1 for me, it was between Sid Tagala and Cam Young for my one and done contest. I still had them available. I'm going to go Cam Young, which probably means you should go Tagala. I think he's a viable option too. But, obviously Cam Young fits the bomber narrative, and I think he's just ready to win and break out. Obviously, he's been very close a couple times a year to getting a win. He should have won over in the Middle East back in February, the one that Rory ended up winning from him. Probably should have won the Valspar. He did very well at the Phoenix Open as well. There's been a couple times this year where Cam Young has definitely been in the mix for a win, has not gotten it done, but maybe this is the week at Quail Hollow he can finally get over the hump. So Cam Young, my official one and done pick for the Wells Fargo Championship. Thank you for watching. If you haven't done it already, please subscribe to the Golf Gambling Podcast on YouTube. We give you free content every single week. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify or Apple, wherever you consume your podcast. Go follow us on TikTok and on Twitter as well. And with that, good luck with your one and done picks for the Wells Fargo Championship. We'll see you next week for the PGA Championship.